Hello and welcome to an AI and Lightning demo video. This is a series of demo videos where we are experimenting with AI bots and LLMs and all sorts of interesting tools and Bitcoin's Lightning Network. So we're going to run all kinds of different experiments, getting bots to pay for things, setting up services that other bots can buy, etc. We're going to do lots of fun stuff. So this set of videos and this video, it's for both experienced Lightning developers who are diving into AI and experimenting with that, and it's also for people who are in the AI world and building AI-based applications who then want to come and experiment with Lightning, right? It's for both of those groups of people. So what we're going to do today is I have an OpenClaw set up here, which I've just set up via a hosting service. So I've spun it up pretty quickly, and today we're just going to focus on how we can set OpenClaw up with a Lightning node so we can go out and make Lightning purchases and do lots of fun stuff. But right now we're just going to see if we can get it set up. So that's what we're focused on right now. Here I've just set up my bots and given it a nice personality and whatnot. And now we're going to give it some instructions on setting up a Lightning node. So this, my bot here, which I've named Auto. Auto is my OpenClaw bot. And Auto is running on this VPS. And so we're going to give it instructions. So hopefully Auto can set up a very lightweight Lightning node on this same VPS. But I need to tell it how to do that, right? And thankfully, we have some resources for that. Here we can see this is a blog post written on exactly this topic on, hey, how can we get AI agents to make use of Lightning and be able to, send and receive Lightning payments. So very, very simply, what I'm going to do is I've just got this URL, right? I am going to copy, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste this data to Auto, right, my OpenClaw bot, and I am going to ask him to go out and set up a Lightning node. So I'll do that now. All right, so Auto, I would like to give you the ability to buy things online with Lightning. Please read this blog post as it contains instructions for how to set up a LitD-based Lightning node. And I will give Auto the URL to that blog post. I am going to ask Auto to set this up on Signet. Signet is just my preferred testing network for Lightning. There are other ones that you can use if you'd like, but I prefer Signet. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm asking Auto to set this up on Signet to begin with because I want to test everything out before we give it actual real funds, before we go and lose our money, right? We want to be careful, and I want to go and set this up first on Signet and get things in place. And what I'm going to do right now is just get this Lightning node up and running, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a bit more in the future about security and how to really set things up well so that you keep your money, right? Just good security practices that we can use. But today, right now, we're just going to do a very basic Signet node on this machine. So let's read what I've given to Auto here. Auto, I would like to give you the ability to buy things online with Lightning. Please read this blog post as it contains instructions for how to set up a LitD-based node. And I gave it the URL. Please run this node on Signet. Awesome. All right, Auto got back to us with some information. Let's see. Yes, Hannah, I can set up a LitLND or LitD-LND-based Lightning node on Signet here. Before I actually run anything, giving me the ability to buy things is effectively giving me spending power. The safest way is exactly what the post recommends. Remote signer plus a tightly scoped pay-only macaroon with a hard budget cap. I can proceed that way. Excellent. We would love to do that. That is a fabulous recommendation. We're going to, I think, do it a bit simply first. A few clarifying questions so I set up correctly on this VPS container. Node topology. Do you want to run a true remote signer on a second machine recommended or a single machine standalone acceptable since it's Signet? Right. So that's what we're going to do for the moment. We're going to say yes, as we are running on Signet for the moment. We won't set up the remote signer now. We'll come back to that. Cool. All right. So it asks budget. What's the maximum you want me to be able to spend? For example, 50K Satoshis, right? And we're going to tell it, again, we'll come back to this before we switch to mainnet. Although Auto is asking some excellent questions here. This is something you definitely want to keep in mind when giving your bot access to a Lightning node. So in question number 3, Otto is talking about connectivity. He says, do you want to control your Lightning node via an LNC pairing phrase? Great idea. Or just local CLI access inside the container? So these are all excellent questions that Otto is asking. In this case, we're going to start very simply, and we're just going to do CLI access inside this VPS, right? All running right here. Connecting, just giving Otto the ability to connect to an external node using LNC, which is Lightning Node Connect, sort of a protocol for securely connecting a node to some sort of external service. That's a great way to do it too. It requires you to already have an existing Lightning node up and running somewhere else. So maybe we'll cover that in another video. All right, I'm going to say great questions, Otto. For the moment, CLI on this machine is just fine. Okay. Once you answer, so Auto says, once you answer, I'll install the required tooling, litd, LND, the agent tools like lnget, a great one we'll talk about later. He'll configure Signet. He'll bake a pay-only macaroon with the cap that I choose. We're going to skip that for the moment and return the minimal credentials needed for you to use, hold, and keep the agent's permissions limited. Excellent stuff. Okay, so I've given Auto his instructions. And I'm just going to put, let's proceed. Awesome. It looks like Auto has succeeded in setting up a Signet Lightning node on this VPS, same VPS where Auto, my OpenClaw bot, is running. So let's have a look at the output that we got here. It said proceeding on Signet, standalone, no remote signer is done. What we've set up locally without Docker is Auto has installed Go and built LND litd, and that's the specific version, and installed lnget for us. Awesome. So Auto created a standalone Signet wallet, gave it certain permissions, cool, started LND on Signet successfully, amazing. It ran ln CLI get info, that's just the CLI command to get the status of your node, and it shows that it is on Bitcoin Signet and synced to chain, which means it's up to date. It's got the most up-to-date information. Your first on-chain deposit address is amazing. It generated an address for me, a certain type of address in the Bitcoin world, which we call a taproot address, which is awesome. That's the more modern variety. 2 important notes. All right, so it had to patch the upstream scripts locally. Create wallet SSH was missing, script directory, VRL option. Okay, fix that. That's cool. Until we set up a budget to pay only macaroon or move or to remote signer, I will not attempt any real buying actions. This node is ready, but spending controls are the next step. That is amazing. Very appropriate behavior for my bots. Okay. Tell me when you funded that Signet address or how many sats you plan to put on it. Cool. And I'll help you get lnget configured against this LND for L402 purchases. Amazing. Thank you, Auto. Let's just run one quick check to be sure that this is set up correctly. All right, so this is amazing. I'm going to do one more check here to be very certain that this is done well and we have an actual node up and running. So I'm telling Auto, awesome, amazing job. To double check that our node is set up correctly, can you please tell me what the node identity pub key is, right? So every Lightning node on the network is going to have an identity pub key. This is just a little bit of configuration saying, hey, if you can pull that information for me, I'm going to feel like we've got this set up fairly well. There's lots of other things we could check too, but let's start with this one. Awesome. Look at that. Your node's identity pub key is blah, 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 blah. That is amazing. This means that we do indeed have a node up and running on the Signet network. So Let's do one more thing. You know, when you have a node on the Lightning Network, if you're not very familiar with that, you know, topology of the network or how that works, there's lots of other computers, lots of other nodes on that network that you want to be talking to form this network. So I'm going to ask Otto for a bit more information just to make sure that we are accurately viewing the network, that our computer, our node, has a view of the Lightning Network. Very important for interacting with the Lightning Network. So I'm going to tell Otto, awesome. Can you now tell me how many nodes and channels we can currently see on the Signet network? So if I get something above 0, that means it is now viewing the network and actively gathering and pulling in data from it. Every node will have an ever so slightly different view of the network because the network is constantly changing. But as long as we have a number above 0, and especially if it's a small number, as long as it's increasing, then we know our node is out gathering that information about the network. Awesome. Look at that. Right now, your nodes graph view of Signet shows 89 nodes and 194 channels. That's amazing. Now, I'm going to bet that's not the complete view. I'd have to go check on one of my other nodes, which has been up and running for a while. But because we have a number greater than 0 here, we know that our node is now actively going out and pulling all of the network data so that it can correctly route payments through that network. So this is great news. We have successfully set up a Lightning node on the VPS here where our OpenClaw bot is running. There are many other ways that we could do this too. There's many ways to Lightning enable your bot, but this is one that works pretty quickly and easily, and perhaps we'll explore some more options soon.